Hello and welcome into the broadcast. I'm Drew Albaugh alongside Levi Coovert. Today we got a great matchup, Pacific International League matchup between the Seattle Cheney Studs and the Gumberoos. Levi, what are you looking to see in this matchup? The Studs, obviously, really long International League winning streak. It's a hot day. Anything could happen.
Drew, I'm really interested to see how former minor league baseball player Jeff Brown is going to perform on the mound today for the Studs. I think he's definitely a veteran presence on this team, drafted all the way back in, I believe, in 2013 or 2014. So he is old compared to most of these guys who have been in college, who are still in college. He's been out of college for, I think, a decade at this point.
Yeah,
but
he was drafted in 2012.
That doesn't mean he can't still play baseball. Right, age is just a number for him. He's out here having fun, having a good time, and still competing.
Yeah, Brown, obviously the Major League hopes probably are gone for him, but still loves the game. He has one outing for the Studs this year. It was in West Seattle against the Fish Sticks, and he threw the ball pretty well, Levi. 7 innings pitched, just the one earned run, earned player of the game in that win for the Studs, but he did give up 7 hits, was able to kind of work out of jams all day long. You would like to see less traffic in today's game.
Yeah, of course, less traffic. And speaking of traffic, let's look at the players who are going to he's going to be facing. You want to read off the Gumberoos lineup for us, Drew?
Yeah, we got a solid lineup for the Gumberoos. You got Kanan Kaku Jr. leading off in left field. Ryan Moore is your second baseman, hitting second. Yvonne Williams will play short. Grayson Revealed, the DH in the 4-hole. Jace Rothenberger, the first base in the 5-hole. Matthew Revels, the catcher in the 6. Ethan Nakamura, the third baseman in the 7. Chase Easter Hairston in the right field. And rounding off the lineup is Jorge Camarena in center. And we are off and underway. Jeff Brown gets the sign, and the first pitch comes outside for ball number 1. First pitch, 5:27 p.m. They want to get things rolling here 3 minutes before the game time was meant to be started as the next pitch comes in. A swing and a miss for strike number 1. It is hot today in Tacoma, and hot might be an understatement. 95 degrees right now at the time of first pitch, and that is not typical for Tacoma as the 1-1 pitch comes in. A swing and a miss for strike number 2.
Yeah, Drew, that he could definitely play a factor today. But these guys are definitely going to be worn out by the end of it, but it's going to be a battle of grits.
The 1-2, fouled back. Count will stay right there. In Tacoma, even in the summertime, you usually are hovering around mid-70s. Maybe you get into the mid-80s, and then once in a while you get these big heat waves, and everything shuts down. There's not much AC, and these players are battling out there. But I was talking to Barry Aiden, the head coach, and he said something very interesting as the 1-2 pitch comes in and once more is fouled back by Kanan Kaku Jr. This team has Wichita aspects, and they are hoping to do well in that college, the Collegiate World Series in Wichita later this summer. And what Barry Aiden told me is that as the 1-2 pitch fires in, and that's fly ball, right field will go foul into the street, he told me this is very typical in Wichita. This is actually what you're going to get, maybe even a little hotter with more humidity. So as far as practice goes, this is great practice for the Studs.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to get used to that heat before you go into the more high-pressure games.
As the 1-2 comes downstairs for ball number 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jeff Brown, the lefty pitcher, doesn't throw as hard as he used to now, getting up there in age, but has a nice pitch mix as the 2-2 pitch comes in. And it's a line drive. Deep right field. It's going to be a tough play by Afwork, but going foul is the baseball, and that will stay at 2-2.
We're seeing a lot of good contact from Kanan Kaku Jr. right now, just nothing that's going into fair territory, but we are seeing why he is the leadoff hitter for this team, why he has a 300 batting average on the season. This guy makes contact. He's fouled off a lot of tough pitches, and he's stayed alive in this at-bat.
Jeff Brown looks in, gets the sign, the 2-2 pitch, fouled back once more, and Kaku Jr. really making Brown work here early on. And even if Kaku Jr., let's say, strikes out on this next pitch, still a pretty successful AB.
Yeah, I would say that as well. He worked the pitch count, battled hard.
The late kick and the 2-2. Check swing, and that goes foul as well. So the check swing still hits his bat, and Kaku Jr. will step in once more. We're approaching double-digit pitches for this first AB. We might already be there. Looks in and gets the sign. The 2-2. That is downstairs for ball number 3. It was a check swing by Kaku Jr. Appealed to the first base umpire. He said he did not go, so the count will run full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Looks in. Gets the sign. The payoff pitch. Fouled back. And Kaku Jr. is really battling. Brown looking for that knockout pitch, but he's unable to find it. Levi, 3-2. Are you going off the zone here, or are you just firing another strike down the heart of the plate?
I think the best plan is to fire another strike down the heart of the plate. You don't want to lose him to a walk at this point.
The 3-2 comes in, and it's a line drive right at the shortstop, and it's a nice play by Jeremiah Crane. So going down on double-digit pitches is Caden Kaku Jr. for the first out, and now that'll bring up the second baseman, Ryan Moore. So 1 out now, and steps in is the second baseman. Brown looks in, gets the sign. The pitch. In there for strike number 1. Working quickly from the bump. Jeff Brown gets the sign. The 0-1. Pop up towards center field. Moving under it is Kamihara. He will make the play for out number 2. So a much quicker second out. And now that'll bring up Yvonne Williams, the shortstop. Williams swings a good bat and plays even better defense. But this Gumberoos team, top to bottom, doesn't scare many people, holding just a 1-8 record in league. Compare that to the Studs, 14-2. So next pitch comes in, a swing and a miss for strike number 1.
Yeah, Drew, it's no secret the Gumberoos have struggled to find wins this season, and a large part of that falls in their offense.
However, Levi, with that being said, the one win the Gumberoos does have in this league against the Studs. The next pitch is outside for ball number 1. It's kind of like David versus Goliath. The Gumberoos last place in Pacific International League play. The Studs in first. But in the first matchup between these two teams, as the next pitch comes in, a line drive left field. That ball's going a long ways, but foul. And that ball had a chance of getting out if he straightened that one up. But instead, it's just allowed strike number 2. But it really just goes to show, Levi, even though the Gumberoos not a great baseball team this season, they still beat the Studs. Anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
The 1-2. That skips in. 2-2 count now. Blue skies here in Tacoma. Mount Rainier in center field. A slight breeze blowing left to right. And it's 95 degrees. A scorcher. 2-2. Fouled back. Count will stay the same. Couple outs here in the top of the first. Gumberoos nothing and the Studs nothing. Ben Schnerman at first for the Studs. Logan Shepard at second. Crane at short. And Gallagher at third is your infield. As the next pitch comes in, and that's fouled off as well. So the count will stay at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And again, some good fight here from Yvonne Williams. Even if he doesn't come away with a hit, we're seeing good contact. He's a .333 hitter this season, one of the highest batting averages on a mostly inefficient Gumberoos offense.
And Brown's still looking for that knockout pitch. Has not been able to find it yet as the 2-2 pitch comes in. And there it is. The swing and a miss. Blew a fastball right by him for the third strike, and that will retire the side. A 1-2-3 top of the first inning. The Studs will look to get on the board here in the bottom of the first.
Just hit the third out, and it should go to the and it should go to home.
There we go. Well, I put it at 3, but I added it again and it switched.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I always make sure everything is right before I hit the out. And then when I was doing that, and then I made sure that the runs were right. Okay, fine, I'm good. And you can fake the runs if you mess up on the just as it goes to the home team, you can put the runs in on the always
If you had one shot, one opportunity,
Check the broadcast today.
seize everything you ever wanted, one moment, would you cash it? Just let it slip. Yo. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, loud. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes gravity.
Well, that's because that was after the end. Go back. Leading off for the Studs, center fielder Drew Kamihara.
15 people, huh?
Welcome back into the broadcast. The bottom of the first, Drew Kamihara steps in. The first pitch is a curveball down in the zone for ball number 1, and we are off and underway. Here in the bottom of the first innings, the Studs nothing and the Gumberoos nothing. The 1-0 fly ball left field goes foul into the parking lot. Does it hit my car? It does not. Thank goodness. Usually I park far away from the field, Levi, for that exact reason, but the only shade offered is right down that third base line, so you best believe I took it. The 1-1 outside for ball number 2.
Drew Kamihara oftentimes has batted second for this team, but today Murashige getting the day off. So Kamihara slides into the 1 spot.
The 2-1 is outside for ball number 3. Yeah, Makana Murashige has been such a cornerstone piece for this Studs team. The only game that I've broadcasted so far where Murashige hasn't played. It's the 3-1 pitch comes in, and that finds the outside part of the plate for strike number 2. At third base today for the Studs, with a 9-hole hitter, Jake Gallagher. As the 3-2 pitch comes in, it's a fly ball towards shallow center field. Moving under it is Jorge Camarena, and he will make the play for out number 1. So now that'll bring up Aiden Dance, left fielder, and this is just his 3rd game with the Studs. His first game was up in Seattle. As the first pitch comes in, it's a hard hit ball right at the shortstop. The throw over to first is in time, and Dance goes down on 1 pitch. So it's a couple of quick outs here in the bottom of the first. And now that'll bring up the shortstop, Jeremiah Crane. Crane is hitting a blistering .345 this year at the shortstop. Crane just provides so much value from the right side of the plate. An elite shortstop glove as the first pitch comes in. A get me over curve is in there for strike number 1.
And Drew, it's not just the glove. He's hitting .345 with a 1.028 OPS so far this year. He's been excellent with the bat as well.
The next offering, a curveball once again, but that does just miss inside for ball number 1. It's one thing to provide defensive capabilities, but also being the offense and bringing that is also so important. As the next pitch is a fly ball towards left field, and that will get down in foul territory for strike number 2. The Gumberoos had a chance at that one. That ball was in the air for a long time. The shortstop, third baseman, and left fielder all kind of collided over there in foul territory, and all kind of just were caught looking at each other and let the ball fall right in the middle of all 3 of them. So 1-2 here, 2 outs. The pitch outside for ball number 2. Dylan Weddle on the hill for the Gumberoos. The 2-2, ground ball left side, foul. Count will stay right there. Dylan Weddle, he's a sophomore. And he goes to Skagit Valley College. It's a Honolulu, Hawaii hometown. As the 2-2 pitch comes in, it's another foul ball. The count will stay right there.
Weddle making his third start of the season for the Gumberoos. He's previously thrown 14 innings. In his
As the
first
2-2 pitch comes in, fouled back.
He's got a 1.29 ERA, allowing just 2 runs so far this year, 9 strikeouts.
Yeah, Weddle's one of the better pitchers for the Gumberoos. Studs really have to attack him as the 2-2 pitch comes in. It's a ground ball towards the second baseman who makes the play, and that will be out number 3. So Weddle responds. A 1-2-3 bottom of the first inning. We've seen 6 batters in total through 1 inning. Going to the top of the second, it's the Studs, nothing, and the Gumberoos, nothing.
Designated hitter number 8, Grayson Reveal.
Welcome back into the broadcast. Top of the second. Here we go. It's Jeff Brown still on the hill for the Seattle Cheney Studs. Levi, we've seen 3 up and 3 down in both the top and the bottom of the first. Some nice pitching here early on. Let's see if it continues in the top of the second. The first pitch, foul ball for strike number 1. The batting for the Gumberoos is the DH Grayson Reveal. The Gumberoos still searching for their first base runner. 0-1. The windup and the pitch. Fouled back right towards us behind home plate for strike number 2. So in an early hole is Grayson Reveal. Not to be confused with Matthew Revels, who's the catcher today, batting 5th. As the 0-2 pitch fires in, it's a pop-up. Towards the shortstop, Crane moves on under it and will make the play for out number 1. So Jeff Brown does what he does best and immediately gets ahead in the count, 0-2, and then forces Reveal to maybe expand his strike zone a little bit, and it leads to the pop-up. Now Rothenberger steps in. The first pitch, foul ball for strike number 1. And Levi, there's not a lot of swing and miss for Brown, but what he does is he throws strikes.
Yeah, he's throwing strikes. He's hammering the zone, and he did get that big strikeout back in the first inning. So we're seeing a lot of good stuff from him.
As the 0-1 pitch came in, and that is swung on and missed for strike number 2. So the 0-2 here to Rothenberger. The pitch is way up high for ball number 1. 1-2 now.
Rothenberger rocking just a 167 batting average this season.
Rothenberger down in the count here. The offering, the pitch. Fly ball into shallow left field. Moving under it will be the shortstop, Crane. And 2 pop-ups to short, 2 outs here in the top of the second. And that'll bring up Matthew Revels.
Matthew Revels.
So Revels steps in. Batting from the right side of the plate, Brown, the lefty pitcher. 2 outs. The pitch. In there for strike number 1. And the water keeps rushing out of the floodgates. It's first strike after first strike here for Jeff Brown. The 0-1 is downstairs. That narrowly misses the bottom part of the zone. The count moves to 1 ball and 1 strike. Nobody on. The Studs, nothing, and the Gumberoos, nothing. 2 outs here in the top of the second. The 1-1 hits the black on the outside part of the plate for strike number 2. The next offering, the 1-2. Line drive, left field, making a diving play, but cannot hold on to the ball, is Aiden Dance, and that will go down as a base hit and will be the first base hit of the ball game for either side. So it's a 2-out knock for Matthew Revels. And now that'll bring up Ethan Nakamura. So a nice piece of hitting from Revels, and now Nakamura with a chance to continue the top of the second. The first offering, a hard hit fly ball into right center field. Moving under it is Kamihara. It's going to be a tough play. It's Afwork who makes the diving play, but it gets down. Throwing in is Kamihara. Stopping at third will be Revels, and it's Ethan Nakamura who jumps on a first pitch fastball and puts it in right center field, and that will go down as a double. So back-to-back knocks given up by Jeff Brown after looking super solid, and now all of a sudden, what was once 1 strike away from moving on to the bottom of the second, there's now 2 runners in scoring position with a couple of outs for the 8-hole hitter Chase Easter Hairston. Jeff Brown looks in, a big spot here early on. The leg kick and the pitch, a swing and a miss for strike number 1. Another first pitch strike, Levi.
Yeah, he continues to pound the zone, but of course didn't really pay off the past 2 guys who took advantage and got those hard hit balls that, 2 diving stops. Too bad they were not able to make those.
As the 0-1 pitch comes in, and that's up high for ball number 1. Yeah, you got to think, Levi, the scouting report was swing the bat if you're the Gumberoos. Jeff Brown, a veteran, is not going to beat himself. You're going to have to go out there and make hard contact. And early on, the Gumberoos have been doing that with a couple of outs here in the top of the second. The next offering is outside for ball number 2. 2 balls and 1 strike now.
Yeah, particularly impressed with Nakamura, who just went up there, jumped on the first pitch, and sent that into the gap in right center field. It would have been a really tough play for Afwork. And if the stats are accurate, which I'm not sure how accurate they are, Drew, but that would have been his first double if these stats are accurate.
Let's just go with they are, Levi.
It says he's only played 3 games.
Hey,
Not sure.
maybe he has. The 1-2, fouled back. Excuse me, that was the 2-1. Turns into 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Levi, why live in a world with uncertainties,
Well, the website says the stats are in.
It's more fun to think they're not, though. As the 2-2 pitch, Jeff Brown looks in. The 2-2 offering. Swing and a miss for strike number 3. So 2 runners are left stranded at second and third. Going down on strikes is Chase Easter Hairston, and Jeff Brown works out of top of the second jam. We're going to the bottom of the second. It's still the Gumberoos nothing and the Studs nothing.
First baseman, number 35, Ben Schnerman.
Welcome back into the broadcast. Leading off for the Studs is Ben Schnerman hitting the 4-hole today at first base. Looking in, the first pitch, a big hack and a miss for strike number 1. Early on, Weddle is looking good and looking like that ace that he is for the Gumberoos.
Yeah, he was sharp in the first inning and comes out with a nice pitch to open up the second. Only that those 2 runs allowed, so runs may be hard to come for today for the Studs.
The 0-1, a curveball, ground ball over to the third baseman who makes a nice play. The throw over to first is in time for out number 1. So a nice play by Ethan Nakamura over there on the hot corner. It was a slow rolling ground ball.
Second baseman, number 6,
And Nakamura flashed the leather to sit down Ben Schnerman. So now that'll bring up Logan Shepard. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. The pitch. In there for strike number 1. And Dylan Weddle's favorite pitch continues to be working for him. That curveball has been nasty. Not just to put guys away as the 0-1 comes in, and that will actually hit him. So the first base runner for the Studs, it was a hit by pitch. So Logan Shepard will reach base, and now that'll bring up Isaiah Afwerk. So with 1 out, runner on first base. Afwerk hitting .349 on the year. Has been super productive for the Studs. As the first offering comes in, a hard hit ball right at the third baseman who's unable to make the play. So it'll go down as a really hard hit ball right at the third baseman, and we will give him a base hit. So runners will now be on first and second, and the Studs all of a sudden have something cooking here in the 2-5-3. Jack Bergstrom will now step in, and he's also having a great season. .379. Can play the catcher position, first base, and also DH. Runners on first and second, 1 out. The first offering is down low and outside for ball number 1. A big spot here for Bergstrom. Waves his bat a few times. Puts it off his shoulder, and the 1-0. Looper into down the first base line, and that's a nice play by the first baseman Rothenberger, who moves under it and makes the play for out number 2.
Catcher, number 28, Zach Robman.
So now stepping into the plate is Zach Robman. Robin with an early opportunity for the Studs. Runners on first and second. They take their lead. The first pitch, curveball, misses outside for ball number 1. 1 ball, no strikes here to Robin. Robin sporting a .240 average this year. As the 1-0 comes in, it's a fastball downstairs for ball number 2. Weddle takes a peek over at second. Taking a pretty nice lead over there at second base is Shepard. The next offering comes in, and that's down the heart of the plate for strike number 1. The Studs are making to look at 3 straight wins against the Gumberoos. As the next offering comes in, runner goes over to third. The throw is not in time. The throw over to second is also not in time. So the double steal attempt works for the Studs, and now there's 2 runners in scoring position with a couple of outs.
And all of a sudden, that changes things, because now a single, you're potentially scoring 2 runs.
The 2-2 pitch. A curveball just misses outside, so the count will move full. Runners are at second and third in Afwerk and Shepard. Robman at the dish. A huge spot here. The 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss for strike number 3. Got him swinging at a curveball. And Weddle continues to show why he's the ace for the Gumberoos. Going into the top of the third inning, the Studs and the Gumberoos have both threatened but have been unable to draw blood, and we are going to the top of the third, still knotted up at zeros. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. All right, I'm fine with some fast baseball today.
Yeah.
It's hot. Watching's pretty good.
Center fielder number 24, Jorge Camarena.
We are back here in the top of the third, and it's the 9-hole hitter, Jorge Camarena, who will step in for the Gumberoos. He's playing center field today, batting from the right side of the plate. Jeff Brown worked out of a second and third jam last inning and got out of it. So still zeros here. The first pitch is looked at down low for strike number 1. So 0-1 now. Here to Camarena. The 0-1. And that's also in there for strike number 2. Catches the bottom outside corner of the plate. Jorge Camarena thought about swinging on both of those, but pulled back last second. And now up early, 0-2 is Jeff Brown. And the next pitch comes in, and it's a swing and a miss for strike number 3. So 3 pitches and a K. And now that'll bring up Kanin Kaku Jr.
Number 15, Kanan Kaku Jr.
So Kaku Jr. lined out to Crane last time up. One out. The pitch. Fly ball left field, hit a long ways, but running foul. Giving chase was Aiden Dance over there and left. 0-1. Brown looks in and gets the sign. The leg kick, the 0-1. Fouled ball for strike number 2. Levi, it is scorching here in Tacoma. I know I mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, but these players, all of course wearing pants, they're out in the sun. We're up here in the broadcast with the sitting down in the shade, and I'm still sweating. As the 0-2 pitch comes in, and that's a swing and a miss for strike number 3. So 6 pitches, 2 Ks, and looking for the immaculate inning now is Jeff Brown.
Second baseman number 13, Ryan Moore.
Yeah, that immaculate inning, 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts, still in play for Jeff Brown. We'll see how he approaches this next at-bat.
And
he loses it.
the announcer's curse, once again, bears its ugly head, and that's ball number 1, up and outside. So still looking for 3 strikeouts, though, as the 1-0 pitch comes in, and that catches the outside part of the plate for strike number 1. The immaculate inning, such a rarity in baseball. I've seen it happen a couple of times in AAA, but every time it happens, super cool to watch as the 1-1 pitch comes in, and there's the fly ball. towards the second baseman, Logan Shepard, who will make the play for out number 3. So it's a 1-2-3, top of the third. Jeff Brown, domination, 2 strikeouts. And we are going to the bottom of the third. It's still the Gumberoos nothing and the Studs nothing. Seattle looking to draw blood and get a lead over the Gumberoos. Don't go anywhere.
Third baseman, number 18, Jake Gallagher.
And we are already into the bottom of the third here. Welcome back into the broadcast, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. As the first pitch comes in, and it's a fly ball over towards the right fielder. Making the play is Chase Easter Hairston, and sitting down on one pitch is Gallagher. So now that'll turn over the lineup, and it will bring up Drew Kamihara.
Center fielder, number 4, Drew Kamihara.
Kamihara hitting just .204 on the year, has been really struggling as of late, looking to kind of turn his season around as the first pitch comes in. A curveball just misses inside for ball number 1. The 1-0. Way outside for ball number 2. 2 balls and no strikes. The third baseman, Ethan Nakamura, playing at the grass, very aware of Kamihara's speed and his willingness to lay a bunt down to get a base hit. As the 2-0 pitch comes in, swinging a foul back for strike number 1. Looks in the 2-1. Line drive left field, that will get down. And a huge base hit for Kamihara. And a 1-out knock. And that will get the confidence up for Drew Kamihara. So important when you're in a slump. Sometimes all you need is just that one nice, solid base hit. And that's what Kamihara did there. Aiden Dance now steps in. The offering is inside for ball number 1. Levi, when you're in a slump, what's going through your mind to try to get out of that?
Anything. Some guys are going to change their socks. Some guys are going to...
As the next pitch comes in for strike number 1.
Some guys are going to be adjusting their stance, maybe adjusting their hands. Maybe they're talking to coaches. Maybe they're not.
The throw over to first, not in time. Yeah, really, you just got to keep plugging away. It's about consistency, changing little things, but not completely changing everything. You're a good baseball player and going out there. The 1-1 pitch, Kamihara trying to steal second. The throw will get past the shortstop, and Kamihara will be in there with a stolen base. Kamihara is the second leading stolen base for the Studs, right behind Makana Murishige. But Kamihara equally as fast as Murishige, maybe even a touch more. Murishige has just gone on base a lot more this year. So the next pitch comes in, and that hits the top of the zone for strike number 2.
And in fact, Drew, Kamihara is 4th in the league in stolen bases. That was his 15th.
Kamihara, 15 stolen bases. That's impressive. As a 2-2 pitch comes in. Line drive, left field. Coming under it is Kanan Kaku Jr., and he will make the play in the sun for out number 2. So a loud out but it's an out either way, and now that'll bring up the shortstop,
Number 14,
Jeremiah Crane.
Crane.
So Dylan Weddle looking really good out there. He's got the fastball, changeup, and curveball mix. He's been loving the curveball today. It's been his go-to pitch. Let's see what he goes to here as the first pitch comes in. And there is the curveball, jumped on, the swing, and it's a fair ball down the left field line. Coming around third is Kamihara. He will score, and it's going to be Jeremiah Crane who will have the Studs draw blood first. It's 1-0 here in the bottom of the third inning, and it's an RBI double for Crane.
35, Ben Schnurman.
And I was just talking about how Weddle's been loving that curveball, but Crane must have seen that and just jumped on it. And now that brings up Ben Schnurman with the runner on second. The pitch is up high for ball number 1.
Ben Schnurman leading the league in RBI, leading the league in batting average, leading the league in home runs. He is a dangerous hitter.
Schnurman is so good up there at the plate and has an opportunity here. The next pitch hits the bottom of the zone for strike number 1. Schnurman has a rare ability to hit the ball really hard, but also hits the ball often. His contact and his power perfectly aligned as the 1-1 pitch comes in, and the get-me-over curve just misses high for ball number 2. In the power and the contact, it's rare to have both. Schnurman has both of those things.
Yeah, he really does it all, Drew.
The 2-1. Swing and a miss for strike number 2. Schnurman swung at full power for that one. And an up and in fastball. Schnurman's eyes lit up, but just missed it. Crane with the lead over there a second. The 2-2. Swing and a miss for strike number 3. An outside fastball sits down Schnurman, but the damage has been dealt. Off the bat of Jeremiah Crane, an RBI double. It's the Studs 1 and the Gumberoos 0 going into the top of the 4th inning.
We welcome you back to the Puget Sound Field. It's the top of the 4th, and getting things started for the Gumberoos. It's going to be Yvonne Williams, the tall shortstop. He struck out back in the first inning. We'll see what he can do here. As Jeff Brown gets settled in there on the mound. 4 strikeouts today for Brown. He has been working quickly and working sharply. Only 2 base hits allowed, and he stranded them both. Williams tries to bunt, and it goes foul, so that'll be strike 1.
Yeah, Williams trying to get all crafty there with the bunt. If it was put in play, it would have been an out. A little pop-up bunt. Not what you want to see.
Yeah, never a bad idea to try a bunt, especially when it's a close game. Try that kind of small ball type of game plan, but you got to put it down. There's the ground ball. Chopper picked up and unfortunately beating the throw. So it was a good play by Gallagher there at third base, but unfortunately it was just a little bit too slow. Gallagher had to come in and grab it, and Williams beats out the throw at first. So it'll be a infield single for Yvonne Williams, and it brings up Grayson
Now
Reveal.
batting number 8, Grayson Reveal. Yeah, that was a tough play by Gallagher. A slower base runner, he probably gets him, but Williams just too fast, shows off the speed. And an infield base hit to start the inning, not what you want to see if you're a Studs fan.
First pitch to Reveal is low, called for ball 1. Grayson Reveal is a catcher tonight playing DH. Hard grounder but foul over back to the Studs dugout. Brown looks in, gets his sign. Here comes the 1-1, and it's a pickoff attempt. Getting back very quickly is Williams.
Yeah, Williams has already shown off the speed once, and Jeff Brown, being a lefty pitcher, can very easily keep an eye on Williams, make sure he doesn't go anywhere.
Next pitch is in the dirt, and taking off is Williams. The throw to second, not in time to make the play. So Williams, he slides in there with a stolen base. It was a late send for Williams. He kind of hesitated, and then he took off once he saw that ball in the dirt. Good throw from Rodman, but unfortunately just a little bit late.
Well, I didn't see an effort by the second baseman Shepard to even apply the tag. I know he was probably still safe, but I'd like to still see a little bit more effort out there from Shepard.
Next pitch from Brown, hard hit, and that's going to get through the gap in the infield. Williams is going to advance to third on that one, so it was a diving attempt by Sherman. Shepard ends up covering for him and picks it up, but Brown could not get to the base in time, so it'll be runners at the corners. That's also going to be an infield single, I believe. Yeah, it'll be counted as an infield single. So runners at the corners, still nobody out. And all of a sudden, what was a really good start is now in danger for Jeff Brown.
Well, Sherman did a great job to just bat that ball down. And there was actually a chance to get the runner out there. But instead, it was an errant throw by Shepard. So now there'll be runners on the corners. A big spot for Brown. Let's see what he goes with. Let's see where he goes with this, facing the lefty.
It's Jace Rothenberger at the plate. He fouls off the first pitch. Yeah, lefty on lefty matchup. Tough matchup for anyone, especially for a guy like Jace Rothenberger, though, who's hitting below the Mendoza line. If you're in a slump, oftentimes a lefty on lefty matchup is not the way to get out of that slump.
That's for sure, Levi.
Brown checks his runners, takes his sign, next pitch, and it hits him in the back. And that's a tough break for the Studs there. The bases now will be loaded for Matthew Revels.
You cannot do that if you're Jeff Brown. You have a favorable matchup. You're facing a lefty who's in a slump right now. And with nobody out and runners on the corners, you have to find a way to induce some soft contact, get a strikeout, something. You cannot be giving up free bases. And now you face the righty, Nakamura, or Revels, excuse me.
Brown's first pitch is low to Revels.
Number 44, Matthew Revels.
And so Revels with a big opportunity to knock some runs in. The Gumberoos offense, as we discussed, not a great offense, but when the bases are loaded, always presents an opportunity. Every hitter becomes dangerous. Next pitch is fouled back, 1-1.
Infield is playing slightly in. Sherman over there at first playing on the grass. Potentially could see a play to the plate here. Or maybe a double play if the ball goes towards the middle infield, towards Shepard or Crane.
Brown's next pitch is in there for strike 2, and Brown, the veteran, the guy who's been pitching for longer than some of these guys have been adults, longer than pretty much all of them have been adults. Yeah. It's on him to stay calm and not let the pressure of a bases loaded situation get to him. Obviously, bases loaded, no outs is going to be tough. But Brown has to trust himself as he gets a foul ball there. The count remains 1-2. Brown has to trust himself that he can get the job done. I'm sure he's been in higher pressure situations than this. He's been in big spots. He's played in the minor leagues. He's played in Division I college baseball. He's played for, obviously, the Studs. He's played for Puyallup High School. I'm sure he went to the state playoffs back when he was with them. And he gets the swing and a miss. So there's the first out. Still have to get 2 more. Still a tough situation. But that is what he needed right there.
Number 2, Ethan Nakamura. And you talk about Jeff Brown needing to step up. Well, that was ice cold. Bases loaded, nobody out. What is the ideal scenario? It's a K. And now the double play ball is in order. And Brown is just 1 ground ball to the shortstop away from getting out of this thing with 0 earned runs.
And Nakamura, first pitch, launches it to Aiden Dance out in left field. The throw to the plate. It is unfortunately bouncing out of the glove of Rodman. So coming around and scoring from third on the sac fly is Yvonne Williams. Ethan Nakamura once again jumping on the first pitch. He jumped on the first pitch back in the second inning, and he launched it for a double.
Now batting number 30, Chase Easter Hairston.
And this time he launches it for a sac fly. Good throw from Aiden Dance, just bounced a little bit offline. The runners at first and second don't advance, so it'll be 2 outs, runners at first and second. And now at the plate is Chase Esther Hurston. Jeff Brown making a toss over to third base just in case Grayson Reveal tries to run.
That was a frozen rope by Aiden Dance out there in left field. It was a great throw. Unfortunately, could not make the play. Was Zach Robin.
The first pitch is in there for a strike, called strike to Esther Hairston. Esther Hairston playing right field today. And now Jeff Brown really wants to make sure his runners stay where they are. We'll see what Reveal decides to do. He's dancing around out there, and now he goes back. And Brown stepping off the mound. In a 1-1 ball game, top of the 4th. Brown would love to hold them to just the 1 run. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. And a big strike 2 there from Brown. And now he is 1 strike away from stranding the 2 base runners.
Yeah, Jeff Brown, if he gets out of this would be a clinic in just how to limit the damage. This gives up the 1 run, but bases loaded, nobody out. You will take that every day of the week.
Brown again checking his runners. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Sits him down. Chase Esther Hairston goes down on 3 pitches, 3 strikes. And that will do it for the Gumberoos. So they had a big opportunity, bases loaded, but they only played the 1 runner. It was a sac fly by Nakamura that got the job done. It's now the Studs 1, the Gumberoos 1. We'll be right back with you. That's okay. We welcome you back. It's Logan Shepard. He was leading off
Now batting number
the
6,
bottom of the fourth.
Logan Shepard.
Logan Shepard, one of the best hitters in the Pacific International League, and he steps into the box to lead off the fourth against Weddle. First pitch, ground ball, giving chases the second baseman, but no throw from second baseman Ryan Moore, so it'll be an infield base hit on the first pitch for Logan Shepard.
Now batting number 23, the right fielder, Isaiah Appleworth.
Yeah, here comes Affelwerk. Singled and stole a base back in the second inning. And another good hitter. The Studs lineup is full of dangerous hitters. First pitch, another swing, and that's going to be called foul as it rolls out of play on the third base line. Studs coming out aggressive here in the bottom of the fourth in a tie game. And sometimes for the Studs, they've really taken advantage of mistakes. They know how to play small ball. They'll steal bases. They'll take their walks. They'll work their counts, maybe a hit by pitch here and there, a sac fly, an error. They just do all the small things right, it seems like, as that was a throw over to first base, but back in time easily is Shepard.
Yeah, the Studs make a living off of capitalizing off the other team's mistakes.
That ball dangerously close to hitting Affelwerk in the face. Slides in there for ball number 1, I believe.
Yeah, 1 ball and 1 strike here to Affelwerk.
Weddle turns again, and another pickoff attempt. A diving stop from Rothenberger over there at first. Almost got past him, and if it did, it would have been trouble. Now the next pitch is lined up the middle for a base hit. Affelwerk takes it right up the middle. Really great piece of hitting. That's exactly what every hitter wants to do, just a line drive up the middle.
Now batting number 5, Jack Bergstrom. Yeah, when you talk about 5-tool players, the first guy that comes to mind for me for the Studs, Isaiah Affelwerk. He can play defense. He's fast. He can hit for power. He can hit for average. Affelwerk, a really good ball player, and so is Bergstrom, who's hitting .379 on the year with a big spot here.
Bergstrom showing bunt, pulls back.
And I think that hit him, Levi. That ball ran inside, and Bergstrom's going to take his base.
Wow.
So bases are juiced now.
So both innings, last inning, that happened as well.
Now batting number 28, Zach Robin.
We saw Jeff Brown hit a guy with 2 on and nobody out, and now we see Weddle do the exact same thing. And it brings up Zach Rodman with the bases loaded, nobody out. So both teams getting a bases loaded, nobody out chance in the fourth. Rodman fouls off the first one.
Yeah, and if I had to put my money on it, I bet the Studs capitalize on it more than what the Gumberoos did in the top of the fourth inning. You got Robin Gallagher, and then the lineup turns over back to Kamihara. I foresee at least a couple of runs for the Studs here.
Weddle's next pitch, and he fouls it off again. So it's an 0-2 hole for Rodman. Yeah, the Gumberoos, obviously, they got 1 run from their bases loaded, no outs chance. We'll see if the Studs can match that or potentially get more.
A single to the outfield probably scores a speedy Affelwerk at second.
I would imagine. There's a pop-up from Rodman. Trying to get under it is the catcher, Revel, and it is going to bounce out of play on the other side of the net. So Revels gave it some chase, but unfortunately for him, not able to get there. Still 0-2. All tied up at 1 apiece.
Yeah, up 0-2 right now is Weddle. I would predict a curveball is coming. Let's see what Bergstrom does with it.
Weddle takes a deep breath. And now the stretch and the pitch, and it's low. So a wise take from Rodman to get his first ball.
And I believe that was a slider up there by Weddle.
Weddle goes off speed again, and Rodman fouls it off. Weddle trying to get that winning pitch to get the strikeout, that knockout punch. But so far, Rodman has battled. Fouled off the last 2 strikes he's gotten and took the off-speed pitch for a ball. Pitch number 6 in the at-bat, another foul ball. So Rodman suddenly is just trying to do what he can to protect the plate, stay alive in the at-bat, and he's doing a good job with it right now.
Yeah, it's a huge spot for Bergstrom. You cannot strike out like what the Gumberoos did in the previous half inning.
And that one runs low, so it's 2-2.
Yeah, a slider that just ran off the plate. Bergstrom wisely spits on it.
So Bergstrom's at first base, Drew. Rodman is the guy
Yes.
at the plate. Rodman, 2-2 now. The pitch, Weddle, and it's up high. So Weddle had him 0-2, and now Rodman has worked this all the way to a full count. And all of a sudden, Weddle, all he can think about now is, I cannot walk this batter. Bases loaded, no outs. The last thing you want to do is a walk. And it's the last thing he wanted, but it is a walk. So the run will come in. It's an RBI walk. And it brings up Jake Gallagher.
Now batting number 18, Jake Gallagher. And you see the difference in quality, Levi, between these two teams. The exact same scenario happens for both. And what happens for the Studs? They draw the walk to score a run. For the Gumberoos, they struck out in that same scenario. And once again, it's the little things in baseball that make all the difference. The Gumberoos aren't that much worse than the Studs, but their records are just so far apart because the Studs are able to take advantage of small opportunities, and when they're given opportunities, they're able to capitalize on them.
First pitch in there to Gallagher. Good-looking slider there.
And it's rare you get such a unique example where you can compare two examples that are so similar.
And Weddle, he had an opportunity to get that strikeout.
He did.
He had him 0-2, and instead he went from 0-2 to a walk.
Gallagher hitting below the Mendoza line. A huge hit here would definitely bring some confidence.
And he looks at ball 2. Close pitch, narrowly missing the zone. Gallagher flew out last inning. So he's 0 for 1 on the night. But a base hit would do wonders. There's the ground ball. Chopper to the shortstop. Throwing over to first base, and it's in time, but the run will score. Affleworth comes in to score. Williams made the call there to go for the out at first instead of the out at the plate.
Yeah, that's probably the right move, Levi. Coming home was already Affleworth. I think the only play was probably at first. The only safe out at least.
Yeah, the only safe out. But again, that's something that separates the Gumberoos from the Studs, because a good team like the Studs probably does get the out at home.
Yeah, good point, Levi.
But oftentimes, defenders, that happens to them, bases loaded, they just get flustered and they think to themselves, what do I know I can get? I know I can get the out at first. Kamihara now pops it up, left field, out of play, and making the catch. No, dropping the catch in foul territory.
Went down as on the transfer, Levi.
And
so
I
it's
guess
gonna
he
go down as
did
a
catch it. Yeah, he dropped it on the transfer.
It's gonna be
Sure
a
looked
sac
to me
fly.
like he dropped it, but he was behind the tarp over there. It is a sacrifice fly, so scoring on the play is Bergstrom, and it's now 4-1 Studs.
Now batting number 7, Aiden Dance. Yeah, it was an interesting play. You have the tarp over there and left, and it did look like he made the play and then tried to throw it in and lost the ball.
Aiden Dance fouls off the first pitch. Yeah, well, either way, whatever was going on out there, I would maybe, I guess, call it an error on Kaku that allowed the run to score. You cannot drop the ball like that on the transfer. Dance looks at strike 2, and again, an early 0-2 hole. But we've seen Studs hitters work from an 0-2 count before. See if Dance can do it again here. The left fielder for the Studs. And he hammers this one up the middle, but it's snagged by Moore. The throw to first in time to make the play. And that will do it for the Studs, but they plate 3. 3-run score. It was an RBI walk, followed by an RBI fielder's choice, and then a sac fly. So they load the bases and then can't get a hit, but they do score the 3 runs. The 3 guys who did initially load the bases. It's now 4. The Studs 4, the Gumberoos 1. We welcome you back. It's the top of the 5th inning, and the Gumberoos are now down by 3. It's the 9-hole hitter leading things off for the Gumberoos. Jorge Camarena struck out in his first at-bat back in the 2nd inning. We'll see what he's able to do here. Brown gets set. First pitch to Camarena, and it's up high for ball 1. Brown now working with a 3-run lead. Hopefully gives him a little bit more confidence, especially after what he did last inning. Impressively worked out of a bases-loaded jam, only allowed the 1 run. And now he gets a big strike on Camarena, so a 1-1 early count here.
Yeah, and early in the season, Levi, I interviewed Jeff Brown after a big win against the Fish Sticks.
As he gets another strike.
And I asked him, as he worked out of a lot of jams over there in West Seattle, he gave up 7 hits and just had 1 run. I asked him, does your mindset change at all when there are guys on base?
And what did he say, Drew?
And he said no. He said when there's runners on base, it actually makes him even a little bit more calm. He just knows he can just execute his pitches. There's defense behind him.
There's a ball low in the dirt, and I guess he swung at that, so they call it a drop 3rd strike, and he is out. And Camarena is annoyed at that call. He holds his hands up as if to say, what do you mean? I'm out?
Yeah.
But it looked to me like he was out.
Definitely swung.
Rodman did get the ball off in time.
15, Kanan Kaku Jr. But Jeff Brown, just a professional. He was saying in the minor leagues he had to work out a lot of scenarios like that as the first pitch is outside. And now playing collegiate ball, he's able to really calm his mind, be the veteran presence he can be. And the Studs, who have such good defense behind him, makes it really easy to pitch for. Super nice guy. And Jeff Brown just really showing all the young bucks that he can still throw a baseball.
Brown, next pitch, hammered up the middle, right off the glove of Brown. Crane picks it up, throws to first, and makes the play. So good job from the shortstop Crane being there, able to just pick up the mistake. Brown almost caught that line out himself, but it'll go down as a 6-3 and a quick second out. Ryan Moore now with 2 outs, nobody on. And Drew, as we were saying about Brown, his experience, he was pitching for UW.
Number 11, Yvonne Williams.
First pitch to Williams comes in there for a ball. You know, Brown was pitching for UW back in 2011. Some of these guys who are just 20 years old on this team, how old would have they been in 2011?
Oh, goodness gracious, Levi. I don't know if, were they even 10 at that point?
As there's a strike, called strike. Drew, they would have been
8, 9 maybe?
8
7?
years old.
Yeah. Wow.
So Jeff Brown was already pitching D1 baseball, and some of these guys were only 8. As the next pitch is in there for a ball. Looked like it was just off the zone, maybe. Good pitch.
And like you said, age is just a number. I mean, you see Paul Skeens up in the major leagues right now. Was drafted last year, is now going to be an all-star. So, I mean, and there's other examples around other sports as well. You know, over for the Spain national team, you got a 16-year-old. 16.
Yeah.
Starting for the Spain national team, one of the best teams in the world at the Euros. And really, athletes can just come in all shapes, sizes, and age.
The 3-1 is called for a strike, so it'll be a full count on Moore. Brown already with 5 strikeouts today. Excuse me, 6 strikeouts today. And he will not get number 7 there. He walks him. So the 2-out walk.
Number 11, Yvonne Williams.
It's the first walk of the day for the Gumberoos. They did have a hit batter, if you count that as a walk. Here's Williams, 1 for 2 on the night, strikeout and a single, and he scored the only run for the Gumberoos so far.
Yeah, and it's going to be Webb at first base.
Brown's first pitch is in there for a strike.
We missed the pinch hit substitution.
Substitution Webb.
So it was Webb who now stepped in for Ryan Moore. So he's going to be over there at first as Williams steps in, the right-handed hitter.
Brown gives off the next pitch, ground ball, third base, throw to second, in there for the out, and that will do it. Gallagher with a nice stop over there at the hot corner. He snagged it, turned it over to the second baseman, Gallagher, to make the play.
Now batting number
We welcome you back. It's the bottom of the 5th inning. It's the shortstop, Jeremiah Crane, who steps into the box to lead things off for the Studs, who hold a 4-1 lead over the Gumberoos. Weddle's first pitch soars in for a strike. An interesting changeup. It almost looked like it was an arched pitch.
It looked like a curveball to me, Levi. I think it goes down by as a changeup. Either way, a nice pitch.
Next pitch again, that was definitely a curveball.
Yeah.
And again, a nice arc to it. Weddle working a quick 0-2 count.
Yeah, and it really hangs in the air for a while. But you saw Jeremiah Crane jump on a curveball in his last AB to give him an RBI double.
And Crane this time again with a nice base hit up the middle. It was a diving stop from Weston Webb, who is the new second baseman, and now Crane heading for second. I'm not sure what Camarena was doing out there in center field, but it looked like the ball just slipped out of his glove, so that's going to go down as an error for Camarena. It'll be a single and an error.
I cannot tell you how impressive that just was. 0-2 after seeing a couple of off-speed pitches. then you jump on the fastball, you hit it up the middle, and then take second.
First pitch to Schnurman is a ball. Yeah, very impressive indeed. And way to make the heads-up call running the bases. I mean, that is a single 9 times out of 10. But when your center fielder can't pick up a ground ball, sometimes it happens. It's a quick 2-0 count now for Schnurman. So he's got the hitter's count. He's 0 for 2 today. But it does not change the fact that this is maybe the most dangerous hitter in the entire Pacific International League. There's a foul ball. Drew, he leads the league in OPS, batting average, doubles, home runs, runs batted in,
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, he is,
and slugging percentage.
like we said, he's so strong, but also can make contact and play good first base. You got to think he's going to transfer to another school at some point.
He watches ball 3 go by, so it's a 3-0 count. On the other hand, he is second in the league in strikeouts.
Yeah, but you still take that one. You're hitting 455.
There's a ground ball foul. But that is something that big league scouts watch through. They see a guy hitting 400 in high school, but if he's also striking out at a 30-40% clip, that can be a way to kind of warn prospects away from certain players.
Yeah, that's true, but Schnurman, from what I've seen, he's passed eye test. I mean, it's a 3-2 count here.
And there he pops it up into center field. Camarena making the play for out number 1. So Schnurman will have to wait for his first hit of the night.
Now batting number 6, Logan Shepard.
It brings up Logan Shepard, and Logan Shepard, coincidentally, he is second to Ben Schnurman in a lot of those categories I just talked about. He's probably if Ben Schnurman is, you want to say, is the best hitter in the PIL, you could make an argument Logan Shepard is the number 2 hitter in the PIL as he takes ball 1.
And notice how we keep saying in the Pacific International League and not in the studs. That's how good this studs team is, where we can compare them to the entire rest of the league, and they're still the best players.
And the next pitch sits on the outside of the zone, but it's called for strike 1. And that's the first, I believe, the first actual strike of the inning. There's a foul ball and a pop-up. Weddle's next pitch, now he gets him swinging, and all of a sudden, Shepard is behind in the count, 1-2. Shepard has reached base both times today. He was hit by a pitch, and then he singled to lead off the 4th, and he scored back in the 4th. Scored on a walk. There's the curveball, and he gets him. He rings him up. Weddle hasn't struck out many today. That was just his 3rd of the game, but it was a nice strikeout nonetheless.
Number 23, Isaiah Albaugh. Yeah, it's a great 0-2 pitch. The curveball, which starts up by Logan Shepard's head and then moves down to the strike zone.
There's another curveball. That time it falls outside the zone for ball 1. But yeah, a really nice pitch, I thought, from Weddle. Afterwork now takes a big swing at a fastball. Can't get to it.
Crane's secondary lead over there at second base is genuinely, Levi, about halfway down the line. He really is taking a big lead. He wants to score off a single here.
As Afterwork takes a look at that one. It's a ball low and away. 2-1. Two outs, 1 on. Pitch to Afterwork, and it's called for a strike. That one looked outside to me, but not to the umpire. It's going to be a called strike 2, so it's 2-2. The count is even. 2 outs, 2-2. The pitch, ground ball, picked up by the third baseman. The throw to first, and it's not in time. Afterwork beating the throw from the third baseman, Nakamura. Nakamura had a really nice stop. I thought it was a good throw as well.
Now batting number 5, Jack Bergstrom.
But that's what you can do when you have that kind of speed like the studs do up and down the lineup. Runners now at the corners for Jack Bergstrom. It'll be an infield single for Afterwork.
Yeah, and I believe the throw was just a little bit too far up the first second base line there.
As Bergstrom watches ball 1. Yeah, throw wasn't perfect. I thought it was I mean, I still think it was a good throw. I think Afterwork's speed is the reason why, though. He was able to beat it.
Was in the full splits and still wasn't on the base.
There's a pop-up, and it is out of play. You heard that land on the bleachers. Not many folks out here in the bleachers today.
It's hot.
Possibly you could blame the 95-degree weather for that one.
Yeah, maybe, Levi. You know.
And now caught in a pickle is Afterwork, and he's darting around out there. They're going to throw home, and it looks like they've got him at the plate. So Shepard tried to come home with Afterwork in a pickle, and unfortunately that is going to do it. So we will return in the bottom of the 6th to see the rest of that Bergstrom at-bat. But first we got to sit through the top of the 6th. The Studs do not score in the inning. They threaten to score but are unable to, as Shepard is picked off. We'll see you in the top of the 6th. It's still the Studs 4, the Gumberoos 1. Well, we bring you back to the top half of the 6th inning. Studs up 4-1 over the Gumberoos. Grayson Reveal, the designated hitter, is leading off the inning. You can't see it probably from here, but he's got long curly hair sticking out the back of his helmet.
And so does Jeff Brown over there at the pitcher mound.
Brown's first pitch, and it scoots in for a ball. First pitch ball to Reveal. Reveal today has flown out to the shortstop and singled. 1 for 2. And now he takes one hard the other way and foul.
And you've seen that a few different times. Jeff Brown, obviously getting up there in age, doesn't throw the hardest. And the Gumberoos have jumped on a few fastballs, but they've just been unable to straighten them out. They've all missed towards left field.
So Aiden Dance tossing it back over to the dugout, and now it's time for play to resume. Reveal is the DH, also a catcher. Also, the other catcher's name is Revels. You got Revels and Reveal. What a coincidence. As Reveal chops it up the middle. Good play by Crane. Good throw by Crane, and it's in time to make the out. Schnerman snagged it on his knees. Jeremiah Crane feeling himself over there at shortstop today.
Jace Rothenberger.
Yeah, Crane makes that look so easy. He
Little
coulda made,
sidearm throw.
Yeah, I mean, he could have made a cup of tea out there. He got that ball in so much time and threw out Reveal in plenty of time. Maybe that's why he plays DH.
Jace Rothenberger takes ball 1.
It's a big inning for the Gumberoos.
Yeah, every inning that it gets closer to the 9th, the pressure begins to get higher and higher for the Gumberoos to score. There's a check swing, and he did go. So it's 1-1. Rothenberger, also, you can see the hair sticking out of his helmet as he takes strike 2. It's always tough when you look at a pitch that you think is not your pitch to hit. Maybe it's on the borderline, but then you hear the umpire call it as a strike. It just hurts your heart a little bit as a batter. And now he does it again, gets rung up looking.
The
Every
control.
coach's least favorite thing to see, a looking strikeout. But now with quick 2 outs, it'll bring up the actual catcher, Matthew Revels.
Now batting number 44, Matthew Revels.
We saw Revels last inning with a nice tag at the plate to get Logan Shepard and end the inning. First pitch to Revels, another check swing, and again he did go.
And the strikes are just dumping in now from Jeff Brown.
Brown's next pitch, another strike. Wow, he is hammering the zone.
He's saying, I'm going to throw your fastballs down the middle. Come and get me. And the Gumberoos have just been unable.
They have not been able to come and get him. You're right, Drew. There's another one on the borderline. That one's going to be called a ball, so it's 1-2.
But even that pitch, Levi, an 0-2
Yeah, good
fastball
pitch.
just misses. It's a great pitch.
Here comes the 1-2, and that one's up high. So Brown tries to go off speed, and he lets it sail a little bit. 2-2.
And you're up 0-2, and then you throw a couple of balls. Okay, that's fine. But you don't want to push it to a full count here. You want to try to find the strike zone.
Brown's next pitch. Swing and a miss. He gets him. Strike 3. That is strikeout number 8 for Jeff Brown. He has been all sorts of hot tonight. We'll bring you back for the bottom of the 6th, where it will be Bergstrom leading off. Bottom of the order coming up for the Studs. It's the Studs 4, the Gumberoos 1. We welcome you back. It's the bottom of the 6th and a new pitcher on the mound. We don't have a first name, but it's Ikeda, perhaps. The righty's first pitch is called for a strike to Bergstrom. So we'll see how Ikeda fares. Next pitch on the way, fouls it back. And an early hole for Bergstrom. Dylan Weddle, his day is done. He finishes the day throwing 5 innings, allowing 4 runs. He struck out 4, he walked 1. Not a terrible day, all things considered, for Weddle. I thought he pitched fairly well, as there's a ball. First ball of the count to Bergstrom. Drew, what do you think about Dylan Weddle?
Yeah, Weddle, I really like his pitch arsenal, especially that curveball. I think if he can just get a few more mile-per-hour velo on the fastball, he can be a really dangerous pitcher.
As Bergstrom takes it up the middle, a looping fly ball, and it lands in center field for a base hit. Leadoff man is aboard for the Studs. Coming up is Zach Robman.
Now batting number 28, Zach Robman.
You will recall Zach Robman was the guy who took that bases-loaded walk 2 innings ago. And now he lays down the bunt, trying to advance the runner. Akita's throw is over the head of Rothenberger. So Robman's going to chug along over to second. Bergstrom at third. Both runners are safe. And it's going to be an error, a throwing error, I believe, on the catcher, Matthew Revels.
Now batting number 18, Jake Gallagher. Yeah, that was a nice heads-up piece of hitting by Robman, and then able to take second. And now the Studs with an opportunity to really blow the doors open here against the Gumberoos. 2 runners in scoring position, already have 3 runs here in the bottom of the 6th.
Ikeda's first pitch, it sails high. Ball 1 to Gallagher. Yeah, nobody out, 2 on. Robman thought he was just laying down a simple sacrifice bunt. Instead, he's on at second base.
Levi, that was a perfectly laid bunt. And when I say perfect, that was about the best you could do. It right down the first base line.
Absolutely.
Riding that line the whole way down, right in between the pitcher and the first baseman.
And there's a fly ball, deep center field, giving chase. Caminero at the track makes the catch. Bergstrom's going to come around and score with ease. And it's a sacrifice fly, RBI, fly out for Jake Gallagher.
Now batting number 4, the center fielder, Drew Kamihara. Kamihara stepping in now, and he has been struggling, but had the sac fly and the single his last couple of times up. Let's see if he can continue that positive momentum.
As he takes strike 1. So the Studs now leading 5-1 after the sac fly. Runner on second, 1 out. Yeah, Kamihara 1 for 2 today with an RBI, a single, a couple of fly balls, but one of them was a sac fly. Now he pops this one, and that's going to be a bloop single for Kamihara. So his second hit of the afternoon. Kamihara now standing in at first base.
Now batting number 7, Aiden Dance. Yeah, and Kamihara, finally some good luck is starting to come his way. I've been broadcasting so many games recently where Kamihara lines out to third, deep fly out to left. You know, a perfectly laid down bunt, but a great play by the third baseman. He's been really unlucky, so finally some luck goes his way, and he gets the bloop single. Good for him.
And speaking of unlucky, Aiden Dance tonight, as he takes ball 1. Aiden Dance, 3 outs, but all three were on hard hit balls. He grounded out to the shortstop, the second baseman, and flew out to the left fielder. And all 3 of those were, I thought, could have been hits depending on just where it went in the field, but unfortunately they all went right to the defender. But he's hit the ball hard tonight. It's a 1-1 count on Dance, and Dance with a big RBI opportunity here.
Yeah, Dance with it's a late acquisition for the Studs, but he's been key in the last few games, hitting in the number 2 hole in every single game he's played for the Seattle Studs. He's going to be big up in Wichita later this year, I assure you.
So there goes the runner. It's a hit and run, and Dance takes advantage. The ground ball over the head of the third baseman. It's an RBI single, and it's now 6-1 Studs.
Now batting number 14, the shortstop, Jeremiah Crane. I'm a big fan of Jeremiah Crane's walk-up music, Levi.
Honestly,
Really
I'm a big
pumped
fan
up.
of this whole team's walk-up music. I think the Studs as a team have a really solid selection. But I agree. And Crane pops up the first pitch. Center field, Caminero going back, looking in the sun, and he has got it. Going to throw it and hold the runner on at second. So 2 outs now.
Now batting the first baseman, Ben Schnurman. A big spot for Schnurman here for his personal stats for sure. Has a chance to get another RBI because he is hitless today. A rarity for Schnurman.
Yeah, not often do you see that from Ben Schnurman. 34 runs batted in on the season. 6 homers, 9 doubles, and now the runners both going to go. It's a pass ball. First pass ball that we've seen from Revels. Revels has been really solid behind the plate tonight, but that was a tough one because now a single, instead of scoring 1 run, a single scores 2. On the other hand, for Ben Schnurman, that's great. Gives him a chance to add a couple RBIs. Second pitch to Schnurman, and he rips it. And again, off the glove of the third baseman. That is going to score 2. It's going to be an infield, I guess we'll call it a single for Schnurman. The official scoring decision is a single. Schnurman is on at first,
Now
2 runs batted in. And now all of a sudden, this game has been blown wide open. It is 8-1 Studs.
And I said it was an opportunity for the Studs to blow the doors open, and that's exactly what happened. You know, if you got the out there against Sherman, you're looking at, you know, you're still down 6-1, but it's a little bit more reasonable. Now it's an 8-1 ball game, and Sherman finally gets rewarded with a base hit. Now 1 for 4 of the day. It was a really hard hit ball, which was the third baseman, unable to make the snag, and now the doors have been blown off of this game.
First pitch to Logan Shepard, and it's called for strike 1. And yeah, now Schnurman with 36 RBI. How many games have they played, Drew? They've only played 28 games. This is game number 29. He is averaging more than 1 run batted in per game. That is incredible. As Shepard takes it into deep center field, Caminero gives chase, and he does make the catch to finally make that last out. But the Studs, they poured it on in this one. They score 4, courtesy of some great timely hits from Kamihara, from Aiden Dance, and from Ben Schnurman with those 2 runs batted in off the bat of Schnurman. It's now the Studs 8, the Gumberoos 1. We'll be right back with you for the 7th inning. We bring you back. It's the top of the 7th, and a new pitcher for the Studs. It's player/coach, left-hander Tegan Aiden. Nakamura will lead things off for the Gumberoos. He's 0 for 1 today with a run batted in and a double. First pitch from Aiden is way outside, and it sails. Oh, that was uncatchable.
Wow, that is not what you want to see as your first pitch.
No, it is not. Well, Aiden is in. Well, let's talk a little bit about Jeff Brown, whose day is now done. He struck out 9. He allowed just the 1 run, just 1 walk in 6 innings of work. He was impressive today, wasn't he, Drew?
He was so impressive, Levi. He had a great game against the Fish Sticks earlier this year, and he one-upped himself in today's ball game. Obviously, the 9 Ks allowed just 1 earned run. He was dominant.
There's the first strike for Aiden.
And
Count sits at 1 and 2. And Drew, you mentioned you wanted to see Jeff Brown limit the base paths. Well, today he allowed 4 hits, 1 hit batter, 1 walk, so he allowed 6 base runners in 6 innings, and those 9 strikeouts really helped him get out of some jams.
And
As there's another ball, 3-1.
I was behind the batter, but you mentioned, limiting the base path, and the thing that really makes that happen, it sounds simple, but it's just throwing strikes, especially earlier in the counts. And Jeff Brown, he poured it on today against the Gumberoos.
Yeah,
Great
he was
start.
excellent.
And Tegan Aiden needs to find the strike zone here.
There's a 5-pitch walk, so it's what would you call a gentleman's walk. Nakamura takes his base, and it brings up Chase Esther Hairston. Esther Hairston was a victim twice to Jeff Brown.
Chase Esther Hairston. Yeah, and you got to be careful if you're the Studs here. Obviously, you have the big lead against a bad team, so you probably, from Barry Aiden's standpoint, he probably is going to try to, save some arms. And he throws out the coach/pitcher Tegan Aiden. But now, just unable to find the strike zone. This could get ugly very quickly if Aiden doesn't stop this in its tracks.
Aiden finds the strike zone there, 1-1. And you mentioned the last name. Barry Aiden is the head coach. Tegan Aiden is the guy on the mound. What's the relation there, Drew? Father-son, I believe?
Father-son.
Cody Aiden, also a player/coach for the Seattle Studs. There's a check swing, and it looks like he did go. So Tegan Aiden maybe catches a break there. That ball was definitely up high, but the check swing, and Hairston was unable to pull it back in time. 1-2 now is the count. Aiden has a chance to get a big first out here.
Yeah, this would be huge for the confidence in particular.
And he gets him on a foul ball, so still 1-2. Studs up 8-1. We've seen a lot of big leads this season for the Studs, who, of course, leading the Pacific International League with that 14-2 record. The Gumberoos are one of those 2. Aiden, deep breath. Now he sets in. Bit of a sidearm approach there. And it's low in the dirt for ball 2. 2-2. Count is even. Jorge Camarena stands in on deck. Aiden taking his time. He's working slowly. As ball 3 sails in, again high in the zone. We've seen a lot of high misses from Aiden today.
That one was closer than most of them, though. Just missed up. Aiden's really got to lock in, find the strike zone here. Cannot beat himself with a couple of walks to start this inning.
So full count, the payoff pitch, runner goes, and it's way outside, ball 4. That's the third time we've seen the ball sail to the backstop. Not even an attempt from Rodman back there to make that catch. So it's 2 on from 2 walks and nobody out.
Now batting number 24, Jorge Camarena. Yeah, and Levi, if you put another batter's box to the right of the original batter's box, that still would have missed
been a ball.
outside. That was not even close. Tegan Aiden just got to go back to the basics and really try to control the strike zone here.
Camarena shows bunt, but he pulls back for ball 1. Camarena was also a victim twice to Jeff Brown's strikeouts. He really feasted on the bottom of that lineup. He struck out their 6 through 9 hitters 6 times. 6 of his 9 strikeouts coming against those bottom 4 guys.
Camarena loves to lay down the bunt. You see the first and third baseman play in.
Camarena again showing bunt. Again, it's a ball, so a lot of misses. 8 balls, just 3 strikes so far. That is
Not good at all.
10 balls, 3 strikes.
Out there in center field, the flag is not waving anymore. It's a muggy day now. No breeze. Brutal.
And there is another one, and now Rodman is maybe going to go talk to him? No. So 3-0, 2 on already. Both of the leading runners walked. You have to wonder, what is the leash on Tegan Aiden?
It's probably
At some
pretty
point.
long with a 7-run lead against the Gumberoos, but
But you imagine at some point we'll start seeing some action over in the bullpen.
for sure.
And there's a 4-pitch walk. So he is, Tegan Aiden has really struggled. That is 12 balls compared to 3 strikes in this inning so far.
Yeah, and a lot of those balls have not even been close. You know, that last one in particular, Levi, you got to think maybe it's the heat getting to Tegan Aiden a little bit. Did you work today, Levi? How did you beat the heat?
I worked in the morning today, Drew.
Okay.
So it was very hot, but I work in the pool, so I
Nice.
kind of get a natural way to cool myself off
Yeah.
at work.
There you go.
But I do feel for my friend who was who was at the pool lifeguarding from 12 to 8 today.
Goodness gracious, that's brutal.
Yeah, she is likely struggling. As there's a inside strike, so he does paint the inside corner of the zone, and he needed that. Just in terms of getting that confidence back up, when you've thrown 3 times the amount of balls to strikes. Aiden's next pitch outside, ball 1.
That one just missed. So if you're going to try to look at the glass half full type of view, just a little bit more inside, you find himself a strike.
And now Kaku Jr. takes it into right field, and that's going to bounce off the knee of Afewerk. That's going to score a couple. They're going to score 2 on the play. It's going to be a single and an error for Afewerk. And all of a sudden, the Gumberoos are trying to make this thing interesting. It's still 8-3, so you're still not worried yet if you're the Studs, but with still nobody out in the inning and runners at second and third, you have to start thinking about how much longer are you going to leave Tegan Aiden out there to struggle?
For sure, but I was talking to Barry Aiden a couple of games ago, and there was a close game against the Blackfins. And when push comes to shove, Barry Aiden says, as the first pitch comes up high, he says the Studs need to find themselves in positions where they are in a close ball game towards the end of the game, because that's what's going to happen in Wichita later this year. So maybe an intentional move by Barry Aiden to throw out Tegan Aiden and kind of put the Studs in an uncomfortable spot.
There's a strike finding the zone. It would be a weird coaching move for sure, Drew, to purposely put in a pitcher you don't think is going to pitch well, especially when that guy is your son. Possibly it's just an unfortunate turn of events, but maybe you're onto something. I don't know. Aiden's next pitch, and that looks like it may have hit him, but instead it bounces off, and that's going to score another one. So coming around and scoring from third is Jorge Camarena. And it is now the Studs 8, the Gumberoos 4. They've scored 3 already this inning. Still no outs. Kanan Kaku Jr. is the runner at third. So now, on the bright side, the bases are not loaded anymore. Only one guy on base. So perhaps that can allow Tegan Aiden to settle in
I don't think
a little
Barry
bit more.
didn't throw Tegan thinking he's going to struggle, but maybe the leash a little longer, knowing that being in a close game isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Weston Webb watches strike 2, so it's a 2-2 count. This is as close as Aiden has been to getting an out. I want to throw it back to that play out there in right field. We saw the ball kind of bounce off Afewerk's glove. And before the play, I was watching Afewerk, and it looked like he was maybe losing focus out there a little bit. So there's the ball 4, so that'll be... Oh, it looks like it hit him as well, so that'll be another walk. So runners are now at the corners. It reminded me of back in when I was playing JV baseball. Drew, you were on this team, I believe. I was out there in left field, and we were just having a struggle of a game. We were down by about 6 runs,
As
probably.
we usually did.
And we brought in a pitcher, a freshman, who really just could not find the strike zone at all.
Yeah.
And I remember I was just, at some point, I just stopped even really caring about the game. I was just out there waiting. Is he going to find a hit? All of a sudden, he does throw a strike. Ball goes straight to me. I didn't even know what to do. I'd completely lost my focus, bounced off my glove, and my error led to even more runs. I hate to compare the studs to my JV baseball mishaps, but that was just something that came up in my memory.
Yeah. Hey, you can apply stuff in all types of the game. Focus is focus, and Afwork didn't have a chance to catch that ball though. So in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't change too much. But still, yeah, you gotta stay focused even when the ball, as a righty playing in left or right field, facing a righty, you're not necessarily gonna see the ball much, but.
Yeah. I mean, the mishap there was could have held him to a single, could have held him to 1 run,
True.
and instead, not that it has really any effect because
Well, Tegan's got to find the strikes.
Tegan's got to throw
yeah.
some strikes. And there's, a good start. It's a pop-up out of play. Ben Sherman's going to make the catch. And that's a huge first out. They needed that one.
And there is cheering going on up here in the broadcasting booth. There is applause from the few fans. And what an out for Tegan Aiden. The longest out maybe ever. How many walks was that, Levi?
Well, it was 4 walks and a hit batter as well as a single.
Yeah, not great. Tegan Aiden now. Let's see if he can use some of this momentum, finish it off.
The first pitch sailing into Grayson Reveal, and there looks like they'll call it a ball.
I mean, the tying runner, Levi, is now in the foreseeable future. It's right at.
Yeah, the tying runner is on
It's
deck.
on deck. Exactly.
It still may not feel like a close game, 8-4, but there's another pass ball. That's going to allow another stolen base. It's Weston Webb out there, the guy who pinch hit pretty
Weston
early
Webb.
in the game. You normally guys are not being pinch hit in the 3rd inning, but Ryan Moore was pinch hit for in the 3rd. Weston Webb came in, and Weston Webb has done the job. He's walked and been hit by a pitch, so he's found the base paths both times he's stepped into the box.
Weston Webb just graduated from, you guessed it, West Seattle High School. Little play on name there.
Next pitch is outside, and so all of a sudden he got that big out. We thought maybe he figured something out, but now it's 3-0. And with runners at 2nd and 3rd, he is dangerously close to walking the bases loaded for the 2nd time this inning.
Man, Tegan Aiden is throwing the ball hard out there. Maybe he just has to dial it back a few notches and find the strike zone.
And it's not going to happen there. It's ball 4, and now the bases are loaded
And Barry's
with
coming
1
out
out.
there, Levi.
Yeah, and it must be tough for you to watch your own father walk out of the dugout to remove you from the game. I mean,
Well, what do you
it's happened to me as well. Back when my dad used to coach me in 3rd grade,
Oh, okay.
it's
All
happened
right.
to me
I'm
as
glad
well.
we're
And
talking
and
about third grade
and
baseball.
every
Uh-huh.
time that my dad removed me from the game, there was just always a little tinge in my chest that said, "Dang it, I let my dad down."
Yeah.
And you hate for that to happen. Hopefully Tegan Aiden is able to, rebuild his confidence. His teammates giving him high fives, trying to pick him
Yeah,
up.
I love
He
to see
knows.
that.
I mean, he knows what he did out there, and nobody's gonna probably mention it to him. Sometimes you have a bad day, and you have to put it behind you.
Well, what you love to see is the entire, dugout come out and welcome Tegan Aiden with, warm smiles, high fives. And Tay, my crazy theory that you thought, could never be true. Well, all of a sudden, the studs are in that uncomfortable situation Barry Aiden wants them to be in more consistently. And it makes sense, If you're going to blow out the Gumberoos by 14 runs, or if you want to play kind of a close game in the 7th inning, as a coach, you're going to take that every day of the week as that close win. As now entering the game is going to be Mojica.
Is it Isaiah Mojica?
I believe it. I'm going to double check
Isaac?
that, leave it. We're going to do a quick check on that. But Mojica, I have seen a few different times. We get thrown as a righty. And let's see, Levi. Mojica. It looks like it's going to be Isaiah Mojica. His quick stats, he has thrown quite a few games for the studs. 7 appearances, a 3.95 ERA. 13 inning pitched. 13 strikeouts, 6 walks. There's a fastball. Has some nice heat to him. last time up, he played the Blackfins on July 1st in the 13-5 loss up in Canada. And he had 3 earned runs.
And it's an interesting spelling. He's got that extra S in his name. Is this? You think this is Isaisa? Isaiah Mahika? We're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with Isaiah Mahika. Our apologies if anyone's watching who knows Isaiah and wants to correct us in the comments section.
Well,
How
we
does
just heard Isaiah from the left side of the broadcast?
Isaiah? Let's go with Isaiah. Perhaps it is just an interesting spelling, or perhaps it is a typo on the website.
That's what I was thinking. But no. Point streaks can never be wrong, Levi.
Well, point streaks is known to be wrong.
Well, you could argue. No. Big spot here. Bases loaded. Big spot for Mojica.
Second pitch is in there, 4 strikes. It was a ball on the first pitch, now a swinging strike. And Mojica, yeah, he has been tasked with. I mean, this is what you see if you watch the Seattle Mariners. This is what Ryan Stanek does for the Mariners. It's the role called a stopper. You bring out in the highest leverage scenario when there's runners on base. Your goal is to stop the damage. When there is water that is going to break over the dam, you have to stop that water before it breaks through. It's only 8-4 right now. However, if Mojica doesn't do his job, 8-4 very quickly becomes 8-7, which then becomes 8-8. And all of a sudden, that lead evaporates very quickly. So Mojica, he's got a lot of trust to do this. And there's the line drive, right field. Mojica's going to get there. Excuse me, Afwork's going to get there. And Mojica can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief. Scoring is going to be Kaku Jr. So it is 8-5. It's a sac fly, but with 2 outs, that was a huge second out, I think. The runners don't advance, so it'll still be runners at first and second.
44, Matthew Revels. And you talk about the dam analogy, Levi. Sometimes it's okay to let a little water through, but you can't let the whole river rush through.
No.
So just giving up the 1 earned run is perfectly fine when you trade that for an out.
Exactly, and there's Revels swinging at the first pitch. It's low in the dirt, and it is strike 1. So the Gumberoos have scored 4 this inning. Would love to keep it right there.
It is beautiful today in Tacoma. Blue skies matching the baby blue jerseys of the Studs.
There's a really good breaking ball there from Mojica.
It's refreshing to see strikes, Levi. It really is.
Oh, absolutely.
And not trying to be too critical of Tegan Aiden, obviously. Just didn't have it today, but Isaiah kind of seen what he did wrong and now throwing strikes down the heart of the plate, letting the Gumberoos beat him.
There's the foul ball, so it's still 0-2 on Matthew Revels. Matthew Revels, he singled in the second inning. After that, he struck out in the 4th and then struck out again to end the 6th. So he's 1 for 3. Jeff Brown got the best of him twice, both times swinging. Yeah, golden sombrero is in play.
Looms large over his head right now.
He watches ball 1.
And that just missed inside. If anything, that might have caught the black, but Mojica will have to step back in and do it again. A great 0-2 pitch there.
Mojica takes a deep breath. Here comes the stretch. The 1-2, swinging a ground ball over to third base. Gallagher making the play. The throw to first in time to retire the side. And with that, the final line for Tegan Aiden is going to be 4 runs allowed on 4 walks, 1 hit batter, and that's actually going to do it for this game. It looks like they're calling it off. Drew, why are they calling it off so early? I have a theory.
This is the 3rd game against the Gumberoos they've called after 7 innings. It might have been just they agreed before the game. We didn't hear about it because of the 95-degree heat. Because only 8-4, I mean, it's 8-5, excuse me, it was definitely a ball game. But that's going to do it. What's your theory, Levi?
My theory is that it's just too dang hot out there.
That's what I mentioned, yeah. Which it could definitely be, but, you know, the Studs, they pick up another win. Now I believe they're 11th straight
15-2 in the Pacific International League. I mean,
straight Pacific International League win.
they've been incredible. Drew, what did you see tonight? Who would you choose as your player of the game?
This is easy, Jeff Brown. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you have to agree with me on this one, Levi. You know, he had the 9 strikeouts, giving up just the 1 earned run. He was dominant today. He found the strike zone over and over and over again. You know, offensively, there was a few other guys that, you know, they had solid games, but nothing compared to what Jeff Brown did up on the bump.
Yeah, and it's such a breath of fresh air for the offense when your pitcher is giving you the opportunity to not be down. I mean, when an offense knows it's 1-1, it's 2-1, you can kind of just go up there and play free. When you're down, it all of a sudden becomes a lot more pressure on that offense. But the offense today looked really good. If you wanted to go offensively, Isaiah Afewerk, he went 3 for 3, 3 singles, however. So, you know, maybe not his best game of his career, but it's still 3 for 3 is no tough day at all. You can talk about Afewerk. You can talk about Ben Schnerman. He checked in there with that big 2-run single to really blow the doors off of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, if not for that single, we'd be looking at a 6-5 game. That's a lot tighter than you would have liked. But an 8-5 win for the Studs. Yeah, great game all around. Player of the game, I will agree, though, Jeff Brown.
Yeah, Jeff Brown, just too good to not give it to him today. I'm going to quickly credit the Gumberoos before we get out of here. I thought they played, in all honesty, a pretty similar game to the Studs.
Yeah.
However, the Studs just a little cleaner baseball, and you see it in the final total. I mean, this one was 8-1 before Tegan Aiden stepped in, but it didn't feel like an 8-1 game.
Yeah, no, it really didn't. You know, it felt like that was an insurmountable lead, and yeah, you're right. Credit to the Gumberoos. They kept fighting, they stayed in it, and they did make it. They did turn into a ball game. If you've played the full 9, I still think the Studs would have won.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
It was close.
Yeah, and the Gumberoos, they lose yet another one, 1-9 now in the PIL standings. And the Studs have also just played so many more games than the Gumberoos this year. It is now the Studs' 29th game. This was just the 13th for the Gumberoos.
Yeah. Yeah, the Studs, they're out there playing a lot of games. They're going on tournaments, and maybe the Gumberoos, they're a new team. They just were established last year, so perhaps they just haven't necessarily made all those connections to get out there, play in Canada, Alaska, California, like the Studs have been doing. We're going to wrap this thing up. Thank you all so much for watching. Go Studs, as always. We hope you have a fantastic Tuesday evening. Stay cool out there. We're going to go find Jeff Brown for that post-game interview, so stay tuned for that. And we'll be back here on Thursday.
Yeah.
I believe we take on, is it the Fish Sticks?
Sounds right.
It might be the Fish Sticks, but don't quote us on that. I know we play the Fish Sticks at some point coming up this week. But we will see you guys on Thursday. Thank you all for watching. Go Studs.